Hello, welcome back to GameSpot's coverage of E3 2013. God, no. I've entered a time warp. I don't know when we are. Is this 2015, 2014? I know someone who'll know. It'll be Sean Ramjagsingh from NHL. Which NHL is coming out this year?
NHL 15 is coming out.
Oh, so it's 2015?
It's 2015.
So we're 2015. Perfect. E3 2014 here. Sean, pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thanks for having me.
NHL, this is a game that I loved on the Genesis, played a bit on PC back in the day. I spent all last night on Twitter talking to GameSpot fans about what they want out of this game.
Yeah.
So I've got a bunch of questions from those folks,
Perfect.
a couple for myself as well, but just give us the overview of what you guys are doing this year that was different than last year, because sports games EA, it's always an iterative process.
Yes, yeah. We were literally really excited to be on the new console for the first time with NHL 15. We literally changed everything, leveraging the power of the consoles, from brand new player models, rebuilding them from the ground up. We have brand new physics in the game, new multiplayer physics, 12 players in physics at any one time. Brand new puck physics as well, built from the ground up. Brand new NBC presentation package in our game, so what you see on TV is what you're going to see in our game this year. Brand new commentators. Our fans have been asking for new commentators for a long time now, so we have Doc Emmerich, Eddie Olczyk, and Ray Ferrara, and done in a way that's never been seen before in a sports game. And it's about bringing that arena to life as well and replicating what you see on TV and when you go to the hockey rinks, that, you know, all that detail within each one of the arenas, and over 9,000 new crowd models as well, so really focus on the atmosphere as well.
So that crowd stuff, I think, is that, do you guys work with other teams in that respect? Because I know FIFA 14 was, for Next Gen, when they released that earlier this year, that was one of those games that sort of dipped into that new crowd stuff. Do you guys work with other teams?
Yeah, that's one of the, one of the real benefits of being part of EA Sports, is we're able to, leverage everything going on around us. With FIFA and Madden and company coming out on the next generation consoles before us, we're able to take all their learning, take all their technology, bring it over to NHL. You just had UFC up here.
Yeah.
We work very closely with the UFC team on the same floor as part of the same business unit. We share a lot of assets. A lot of the great stuff, a lot of the great visuals you see in NHL are taken from UFC, brought over and turned into hockey. So lots of sharing. It just makes, we come out every single year with the game, and we try and push and get as much stuff in there as we can every single year. So the more that we can share, the more that we can borrow, the more that we can learn from each other, the better the games are going to be for our fans.
So what's it like trying to make hockey's a pretty good game to try and make into a video game.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, like the moment-to-moment action is pretty entertaining. Like you can score at any stage, it seems, breakaways, and then just the physicality of that sport.
Yeah.
What's it like trying to make a game that is a simulator but is also fun and captures that essence?
Yeah, it's a fine balance. Obviously, we want to be true to the sport as much as we can, but we have to take some liberties and understand that it is a game that we're making. We're making an entertainment product, and we always want to make authentic hockey, but people's definition of authentic is what differs. If you're a casual hockey fan, you want to have lots of goal scoring, you want to have lots of big hits, you want to have lots of fights. If you're a hardcore hockey fan, you want to see every little detail in the game, from the jerseys moving with the cloth to guys not getting knocked over all the time, to have to set up in the offensive zone or dump and chase to get the puck back, and just that level of detail and really focusing on offensive and defensive AI. So
we're looking at the trailer you guys showed at the EA press conference on Monday as well. What were you trying to get across in this trailer?
Just what the power of Next Gen brings to our game this year, and the visuals that you see here when we talk about leveraging technology from USC for the dynamic cloth in there. We actually rebuilt our player model from the ground up this year. So we modeled the body, we modeled the equipment on top of that body, and then using some technology for the fashion industry, dropped the jersey over top of that. So you're seeing cloth in our game for the first time on all the players. You see some multiplayer collision physics here, some of the new pieces for gameplay. Again, in the past, our fans have loved the physics we've had in the game. This year it was about going from 2 players being in physics to all 12 players having the ability to get in physics. You're watching the playoffs right now, and there's scrambles, crazy scrambles, desperation plays going all the time, pile-ups in front of the net, pile-ups in the goal crease, and that's what we want to have in NHL 15 with the physics that we have in the game.
Well, the Kings could win the Stanley Cup on Friday, so do you guys have riot physics? Because I think that might be something we see outside the LACC in about 48 hours time.
Hopefully the Kings win. I'm a Kings fan, so hopefully the Kings win. Hopefully you don't see the riot piece, though.
It always comes up when we talk about these games. Obviously, you guys have the fighting. It's a part of hockey culture, I guess. How much did you guys work with the UFC guys on that sort of stuff?
Not too much on the fighting mechanics itself. We invested pretty heavily in NHL 14 in our fighting engine. And the thing about fighting is it's part of the sport. And there's a whole game within the game on the ice in the real NHL that goes with fighting. You want to go throw a hit on a big superstar, you can expect one of their tough guys to come over and challenge you to a fight. So there's the whole code that goes with fighting. And for us, we're just trying to replicate that code in our game. And our fans love fighting, so we put the fighting in there for them.
That's crazy. How much of that sort of that pageantry do you have because whenever I watch hockey, and it's one of those sports that I sort of one of the last American sport I need to conquer. There seems to be a lot of history and pageantry, like whenever hat tricks happen, like sort of throwing the hats on the ice. Is it the octopus that gets thrown out as well? Like, how much of that stuff do you put in the game? Where do you draw the line? Because there's so much of that like tradition to pull from.
Absolutely, yeah. This year, so we really focus on the details within each one of the arenas this year, rebuilding them from the ground up. If you go to Madison Square Gardens, you're going to see, you know, the secondary characters walking around the glass, that unique geometry they have where the seats don't come all the way down to ice level.
Oh, wow.
So really replicating each one of the arenas and then focusing on our crowd. We have over 9,000 unique crowd models in our game. So bringing that crowd to life, we have the ability to differentiate the crowd. So if you're a Montreal Canadiens or a Toronto Maple Leafs, where the team travels really well with their fans, and it's 50-50 if you go to a Montreal game in Vancouver, for example, we can have full control of the crowd. Or if you're playing in Calgary, we can have that entire sea of red in there as well. We've got the super fans in the game. We have that away team super fan, that annoying guy that everyone hates. We've got people in the crowd taking selfies, not paying attention, reacting late to the goal being scored.
You got the banging on the walls.
We have the glass bangers in there. You have a fight break out in the corner. You'll see the glass bangers up and getting into it. So it's really, you know, just bringing out all those little details with the crowd and making that crowd a big part of the atmosphere just to bring that game to life.
Awesome. I want to get into a couple of questions that I picked up last night. And if you have any yourself at the moment, at Danny O'Dwyer on Twitter, or if you're in the GameSpot chat, do at Danny O'Dwyer on there as well. Apologies, my surname is hard to spell if you don't know it already. Darcy Palmer asked, will weather be adjustable for outdoor games? So actually, will you have outdoor games?
We got lots more. We're going to talk about modes probably the next 6 to 8 weeks as we head up towards launch. So here at E3, we're focusing mostly on gameplay and presentation.
Okay, cool.
So I got to hold that question for a
couple
couple months.
Watch this space. All right, no worries. And also, this is a lot of people were asking this. Are you going to maintain the NHL 94 anniversary mode that you had?
Actually, we talked yesterday about that a little bit. It's going to be in the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions, and then still, of the details of all the modes for the next generation console game is still to come.
That came around as well with FIFA last year. There was a bunch of stuff that just never made the cut. Has trying to get in that the re-scanning the player models, adding in that crowd stuff. Like, at what stage do you just have to say we have to leave out these features? Because with an annualized franchise, surely time is of the essence, and you have to pick and choose.
Yeah, people always ask us, well, how do you come up with new ideas every single year? You know, where do all these ideas come from? The thing is that our fans never see the ideas that hit the cutting room floor. We have limited time, resources. We have a deadline we need to hit every single year. So we need to make some tough choices really early on in the project. And what we do is we go back and we revisit those things that we cut. We say, are they still relevant? Do they still make sense? Do fans still want this based on the feedback we're getting? Listen to the fan feedback as well, see what they're asking for, so we start to build into our plans. And I feel it's our job as producers, as a design team, production team, to always think about new ways to kind of raise the bar, things that our fans aren't even thinking of that's possible, and try and deliver those experiences as well. So that's where those three things come from, the three main places that new ideas come from for our games.
Is that a challenge then when you add in any feature? Because then you're like, oh God, we have to do this one every single year. Or like, is that a worry?
I don't think it's a worry, because I think we want to get it out there and we want to make it awesome when we put it out there and then get the feedbacks and start to tweak it. So it's usually not massive overhauls we need to make year after year if we deliver it properly the first time. And we do lots of early testing with our games these days, bring people in, get their early feedback. We have an idea, and we have an idea we think is going to meet the needs of our fans, but we don't actually know until we give it to them, get them play, get that feedback so we can adjust it. So no longer is it let's get our ideas into the game, put it out there and see what happens and try and fix it the next year. We have people coming in early on in the process giving us feedback on it.
Cool. Got a couple more questions here. Soda Fiend says, in 14, the player couldn't control the goalie. Has that mechanic changed or evolved at all in 15?
We're gonna get to a lot of the control mechanics later on as well.
All right.
Yeah. So I can tell you though, with our new our superstar deking system, it's something that we continue to improve on every single year. And this year, because we can do more, we can put more animation there. We've pretty much overhauled all the animations in our deking system. We have new stride dekes, and we have upper and lower body separation as well, which gives a whole new level of control to the players themselves, never seen before. What that means is you can be gliding, you can be turning, and you can do toe drags out of it. You can basically take the puck to places you couldn't before, get through spaces you couldn't. Just really giving you more tools as a gamer to have success in our game.
What about the new puck physics as well? I don't want to keep harping back to FIFA, but it is a touchstone I have. I remember when they brought that in, I think it was maybe 2 years ago. It really did change up the... it didn't feel like it was stuck to you anymore.
Yes.
How is the new puck physics going to change between 14 and 15?
Yeah, it's fundamentally changed our gameplay experience. It's really amazing. We've actually rebuilt it from the ground up. We actually have a guy who worked on the Hadron Collider in Geneva, Switzerland, where they smash particles together and create black holes. So we brought him over. We brought him over to work on our puck physics. And the results are amazing because now the puck is going places the puck hasn't gone before because it's literally just doing what physics would do. So it's going to hit the goalie. Shots are going through the goalies, squeaking through goalies. It's hitting the goalie, hitting the cloth on the goalie, then hitting that equipment that we model underneath the goalie.
Yeah.
And then based on the angle of the puck and the speed it's going, it's squeaking through places it hasn't before. And so the behavior, for fans that play our game every single year, the puck's going to be doing things you've never seen the puck do before. It's really, really amazing from the puck's rolling and turning on the ice to just amazing goals, amazing bounces. Just everything just looks that much more realistic because of the realistic puck physics.
Excellent. Gregory Craven asks, will difficulty sliders and third jerseys be available at launch?
Difficulty sliders, yeah, definitely. That's part of the game. We want to, give our fans the ability to customize the experience as much as possible. Third jerseys, we'll talk about that later on.
You got to get those high-res scans of all your jerseys as well.
Right.
Is that going to be a problem then with the arenas? Because I know that was an issue with when the FIFA made the transition to next gen, was that because of the amount of detail that's required for the new arenas, that maybe the past gen version has more versions than the next gen version. Are you guys having that issue as well?
Not so much. I mean, for us, we're able to give so much more this year. I mean, we had a couple semi-generic arenas in Gen 3, and this year we were able to model out pretty much every single arena in the NHL and try and nail every detail. We have a very, very passionate development team in Vancouver who are not only developers of the game but consumers of the game. And those guys bring it every single day and just want to have every single detail correct. And when we have to kind of shut things down and say, you know what, we don't have time to squeeze that one more thing in, it's like, come on, I'll work all night to get that in.
All right.
So that's how we get to all those details.
No worries. Sean Rajab saying, absolute pleasure to have you here, sir. For the folks watching at home, NHL 15 for current gen, we can now say, and past gen. When is it out? When can people finally get a hold
September
of it?
9th.
September 9th. All right, sounds like you got a bit more work to do.
Absolutely.
So get head on back. We got a bunch more games coming up. The EA Sports show here continues. FIFA 15 is up next, and Nick Cannon's going to come on and have a chat with that. But first of all, we're going to shoot over to Lisa Foyles, who I believe is checking out the Square Enix booth.
Lisa Foyles here with GameSpot. I want to give you a little tour of the giant Square Enix booth. They've got a whole big area over here showing a lot of different games. And even in these cute little glass cases, we've got some plushies, Final Fantasy characters, these figurines. Oh, these are so beautiful. I bet if I reached through there and tried to touch them, like a big alarm would go off. Over this way, we've got even more. I love when they show off this kind of stuff. Very detailed. Metal Gear Solid. Gotta love him. Over this way, try to squeeze past this guy. Oh, we've got the Joker looking very sinister, and Robin. Batman over on this side. Man, these are killer. These are so awesome. So that's what we got for some little eye candy. Let's go to some games. Let's check it out. Let's see if we can bug somebody. We've got Kingdom Hearts over here. Let's talk to somebody, see how they like it. Oh, I found a guy I want to talk to right over here. Zeroing in. Hey, buddy. Can I talk to you about this game real quick? Did you play it at all?
No, I haven't started yet. So
You haven't started? You want to play a little bit so I can watch you? Maybe you can, like, describe your experience. But try not to suck because we're watching. You're on camera.
I haven't played this game for a while, but this is the PS. This is a compilation of two Kingdom Hearts games. One for the PS2, which was Kingdom Hearts 2, and Birth by Sleep, which was a PSP game. They're both been HD remastered for the PS3 with some new content that was only exclusive to Japan before. I don't know exactly what that is, but I'll try it. Right now we're in the Beauty and the Beast level. I'll see what I can do and find where these guys are.
All right. You're in a little boss battle here?
I think this is a...
That's the Beast!
Yeah, he's your partner in this level. You always get a Disney partner in each level. Okay, let me see if I can... how do you dodge? Okay. Okay, there we go. You gotta... Oh. When that triangle symbol pops up, you can sometimes do like a special move with that, where like, he swings around the chandelier for extra damage. Let me try and take this guy down. Okay, I'll do activate Valor form as like a power up. That'll make me do extra damage. And I can wail away on this guy, at least when he appears. Let me try and get close to him.
Dual wielding the Keyblades.
Yes. Oh, dang, he got me. Okay, give me some damage. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay, let me see if I can get to. Oh, he's fast. I remember you have to do these tendrils as well. That's like part of it.
You're doing great. I would totally crack under pressure here. Thanks, man. We're gonna go check out some more games. You're doing awesome. Keep kicking butt. All right, over here we've got Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy. An odd title, music title. I definitely want to talk to somebody about this. Who are we gonna find? Hello there. As you can see, big overview of the whole booth here. Let's find somebody. Da-da-da. This guy. I like this guy real quick. Excuse me, sir. Can I talk to you for like 2 seconds? How much of this have you played?
I've been playing it for like 10 minutes, maybe?
I really know nothing about it. Can you tell me what it's like?
Yeah, basically they took all the, a wide variety of Final Fantasy music and collected it together into a nice touchscreen music game. As I'm currently failing because I...
No, that's like the point is I put you on the spot and then you die and then you feel embarrassed and I feel better about myself. That's how it works. You a big Final Fantasy fan?
Moderately. Not a huge Final Fantasy fan, but I have played a majority of them. But I actually really like music games. So I'm actually more here for the music games more than the Final Fantasy, I guess.
Kind of rock band-ish. Can you load up a level?
They have like a couple different types of tracks. Like, for instance, like the one I was just playing, it has just one stream, but then this one that they're showing, it's going like around and connecting the lines together. Some of them have 4 streams going at once for the 4 characters that are in your party.
Interesting. I feel like we don't get a lot of music games these days, so this is kind of nice.
No, yeah, exactly. I personally love music games, and since like kind of Rock Band kind of fell away, now there's very few. I was happy that this is here. Hatsune Miku Sega brought, which is like really big in Japan, but not in America. Oh yeah, it was a good example of the 4-player one with a boss battle.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave you alone. Thanks, buddy. Sorry to like spring on you. That's kind of like my thing. I like to crash people's gameplay. All right. As you can see, that's Square Enix for you. They're not showing Lara Croft. Unfortunately, I was really excited about that. But tweet me what else you want to see. At least Foils, use the hashtag GameSpotE3. Lisa Foils here with GameSpot.
Hello, welcome back to the GameSpot stage right here at E3 2014. E3 is not the only thing that's on right now. Oh no, I'm going to be sitting on not even this stage. I'm going to be sitting on the other stage when the FIFA World Cup in Brazil 2014 kicks off. Brazil versus Croatia. I'm very sad that I'll be missing it, but I'm very happy to have lead producer of the games, Nick Cannon, on the stage. Pleasure to meet you, sir.
And you, thank you for being here.
FIFA 15, last year was an interesting year for you guys. You obviously released the we can now call past gen version of FIFA 14. And then you also released the next gen version, which was actually substantive, very different to what the other one was. 15, is it a now unified experience, or what are you bringing new to the table?
No, I mean, I think what we did last year and what we'll always continue to do is we'll always drive innovation on Gen 4 in particular. I mean, we're still moving forward on the Gen 3 consoles, making that'll see significant improvements this year, but we don't want the technology to be hamstrung by, you know, the old consoles. We're driving the innovation as much as we can on, you know, on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and obviously this year we've also announced that the next gen version will be also on PC, whereas last year was based on Gen 3. So really trying to drive the innovation.
I think a lot of people will be happy about that.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming that was an issue with, you know, I'm just talking to this. You're my hat trick of EA folks for sports games.
Right.
That is a problem when you're trying to make games every single year, surely.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you're making a game for a new console, you've got to make the game while the machines are also being made. So it's a difficult thing to do. We had a team on it for a couple of years, making sure that transition was really strong. I think everyone understands we didn't quite get it right the last transition, so we made sure that the game was fully featured, all the major features were on there, and then spend time to also innovate for the new hardware. So the base was there, and then obviously now this year we can bring that same technology to PC.
FIFA 14 for next gen was definitely a strong transition. What are you guys doing with 15?
Really a lot of stuff this year. So it's given us that great base to really start to innovate again. So, you know, a number of things that we're doing is around like the player model. So we've completely reworked all of our player models this year. I don't know if we're going to see it on screen, but
yeah, I think we got some Messi.
Got Lionel Messi here, just showing just how athletic he looks. He looks lean. He looks toned. We felt at times previously our player model looked a bit, you know, that the shirt would look a bit baggy. They were a bit dropped in the shoulders. So spent a lot of time making sure that looks great. And as you can see it here, just how much more athletic he looks, more toned around the shoulders and the arms. So completely reworked our player model. And also the animation rig underneath it. The next thing that we've done is some technology we've been working on for a couple of years in the background that we're going to be bringing in. So if we see a screenshot now of the full game, we're going to see a screenshot of FIFA 14.
Okay.
As you see right here, it looks a little bit, I mean, this looks great. We're very proud of this game.
Yeah, it looks like Arsenal are going to beat Man City as well.
Exactly.
I'm pretty happy about that.
But you don't see, there's no detailing in the pitch. It looks a little bit flat, and then if we transition to the next screenshot, you'll see that's how it looks now on 15.
Wow, okay.
So it's a dramatic difference. You've got all the sort of detailing in the pitch itself. And this is using a technique that we call physically based rendering. As I say, we've been working on that for a couple of years. You can only do it with the sort of power of the new console. So really pleased with that. I don't know if we've got a video that shows the time lapse of how the footprints work, but if we bring that up, we're actually simulating the footsteps of every single player on the pitch. Not only do you see footprints, you'll see slide marks or slide tackles. We also now have cloth, so when you do that slide tackle, you'll start to see dirt on the kits as well. So it's also, you know, it's bringing the game to life. It makes it look a lot more realistic and authentic. And we think it's a huge step forward in our, in our visual quality.
Yeah, cutting up the Etihad is always a fun experience.
Exactly.
I didn't like
that's
how
one of the, no, sorry, not the Etihad. I was thinking of the Emirates. Emirates is one of the best pitches around.
Yeah, pristine as well.
Amazing. Truly amazing.
So how bad can that stuff get? Can you like really cut up pitches?
You
like
can cut it up and you'll see it's different. You just saw a glimpse of it at the end there when it goes to rain. You'll see it's more mud than it is. Sort of, you know, when it's a clear day, you get the footprints. It's just pushing the grass down. Whereas you see when it's wet, you'll start to see it gets a bit more muddy.
Excellent. In terms of the player movement, player control, every single year you guys, it's almost like a good problem to have in that you seem to be, the community seems to generally have only maybe one or two little niggles. The general control and how the players move is fundamentally sound. So every year, how do you address what you want to do next? Because there's obviously a pressure to do something. But then when the fundamental basics are working so well, how do you decide what you want to work on?
Well, we look at lots of different elements. It's, you know, every year we look at the game and it's, okay, how can we improve it? How can we make that next leap forward? And like last year we introduced on the next-gen console the step-based locomotion. You know, it's a dramatic change in the look and the feel of our game. But we did get some feedback from our community that it felt at times unresponsive. So we've worked a lot on that, a lot more animation coverage, a lot more agile, tight turns, and I think, you know, people have played it just completely feel the difference this year. I think we've got some the game footage here where we're going to show a new technology around some of the emotion. I know one of your favorite players is Nasri, as we're going to see here. So Actually, he's just been fouled by Neymar.
Okay.
So in this situation, we're actually monitoring the emotional state of all 22 players on the pitch. So Neymar has probably had a couple of bad challenges on Nasri, and you can see he's reacting to that. So there becomes a reaction. But if we just wind it back, we've actually got Aaron McCarty, our lead gameplay producer, in the back here controlling the game. If we wind it back, you're actually going to see in the background Yaya Toure puts his arm up, and he's actually appealing for the yellow card. If we move it forward, you've got Iniesta just in behind the referee, and he knows the card's coming.
Yeah.
So all of these players now are reacting to different situations. If we move it forward, you're going to see Messi and Dzeko. Dzeko applauds the decision. Messi doesn't like the decision. They know it's one of his, Messi knows it's one of his best players on his team. The players now have a memory, they now have context, they understand what's going on, and you'll start to see, not just in these situations, but also a big goal at the end of the game, players will react differently than a goal early on, and they'll also, in this case, bad challenge. It might be it was a great tackle, a game-saving tackle, players will come in and congratulate them.
Excellent.
So it gives this emotional state and this intensity. I mean, I think you'll agree, football's the most emotive sport there is, and we really wanted to bring that down onto the pitch.
Actually, if Nasri didn't cool off, if he was a little bit cooler, then maybe he'd be going to the World Cup with France as well.
Exactly, there you go.
Poor guys.
So the next thing I think we're going to show here is what we're doing. And again, I talked about the responsiveness and the feedback we got from the community last year. It's not just about the player movement itself this year. We wanted to make the game responsive in all areas, even more responsive, should I say, in more areas. So what you're seeing here is new ball physics and what we call correct contacts, but also run touch dribbling, where there we can now look at the predominant foot of the player. So we all know Messi's predominantly left-footed. You saw every touch there was inside and the outside of his left foot.
Yeah.
But what we're also doing here is with the ball physics is the ball physics now are true to exactly where the ball touches. And you'll see now if you just move it forward, the ball touch is perfect and the spin of the ball is too. And what this means is previously we were zeroing the spin on every touch and then re-imparting spin. What this does is it looks great, but actually what it really does is the responsiveness and fluidity in passing just gone to another level. So really a huge difference there, around passing the ball. And as you'll see as we just finished off here with a shot, it looks really nice as well. And you can see the grass.
When the PlayStation 4 version of this came out, I spent a embarrassingly long amount of time just uploading screenshots from this thing, like pretending it was almost like I was playing sports photography simulator and just taking stupid shots, like low depth of field shots behind Chesney's head of what it's like when.
Well, this is what you see. I mean, look at the visuals now. You see the detailing in the grass. You see the new lighting, which makes a dramatic effect on also how good the players look as well.
Excellent.
So I think if we move on to the next sequence, we're now going to talk about how we're getting that fluidity and control and also responsiveness now in tackling. So you're going to see Demichelis come in, do a slide tackle. And actually, just as we pause it here, this is our physics system coming in as well. He actually braces because he knows there's going to be a touch on him, so he actually puts his arms up. He grimaces as he comes up. And as he comes out of this situation here, he'll actually come up dribbling. And we never had get-up dribbles before. So again, you lost that responsiveness and control in that situation. So he gets up and comes out dribbling. I think if we go to the next situation, this is obviously more common as stand tackle. Before we see that, here is just a volley touch, which is brand new. You'll see the ball control. You'll see the spin on the ball here. But look at now the defender and the tackle. He comes up and the ball stays close.
Yeah.
Previously the ball, you probably know, it gets quite far away from you. Quite often goes back to the opposition.
Yeah.
It felt unresponsive. It was frustrating. This is what we call a possession tackle. So, again, much more feeling of control around tackling the ball. And then if we go into the next one, this is a new physics again and control. Shoulder challenge here, easing the player off the ball, using that body position. And then I think we've got one more coming up now. This is all about our new AI. So we want the AI to feel like much more like we're playing against each other, more human-like. Players will now, we were talking about Chelsea earlier, the City are actually now parking the bus on you.
Okay.
So they're actually up, up a goal late. They want to protect that lead, so they're actually, you can see here, 10 men completely behind the ball. And Barcelona, who we all know, go a little bit more tiki-taka style, later on in the game are actually going to go more direct. So you can see here Iniesta actually plays a great ball into Messi, but there's all the systems coming into play. So I just show you here the emotion system. Messi makes a nice run along the line and actually points, I want the pass here, put it in here for me. He comes in, it's a great ball in. If we just pull back slightly, you'll see Kompany actually is appealing for offside because it's tight. That's a new volley type. Obviously nice contact with the ball. And now we have a get-up celebration that we've never had before. He gets up. It's a big goal at the end of the game. He's getting up, celebrating. City is still appealing for offside. Joe Hart's let in a goal. Gets up, and then he realizes that the flag's up.
Excellent. It's
So we've got a slight delay now on the offsides.
It's all those details.
Exactly.
Oh,
And then
no.
he starts to celebrate, and then he turns and realizes,
Oh, well.
he's offside.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can see Joe Hart still thinks he scored. So, yeah, this is about bringing that emotional feeling. And, what we really want to do is these are all the feelings you get when you're watching the game in TV.
Yeah.
We didn't feel we always had that sort of emotional reaction from the players. At times they wouldn't do a lot. Again, it's bringing that emotional reaction in you, the player, that just adds to your experience.
What's it like focusing so much on these details, which oftentimes when a player is playing the game, perhaps they realize it, but they don't realize they're seeing it?
I think it's the entire package, and I would want to point out that the focus for us is always gameplay. The number one thing, our biggest, the biggest size of our team is gameplay, and it always will be. But these details just add to that experience, add to that feeling of authenticity, which is so important in any game. So, it's that balance. But for me, when you see the reactions, it's what you expect to see. It's what you see on TV.
Yeah.
It's what makes that the sport that we love, that connection for you. So, whilst he might not jump out of you that first minute, it then feels very natural.
Cool. I'm going to take a couple of questions from the community as
Absolutely.
well. First one, Excalibur Chris asking, dynamic weather. Obviously,
Yes.
there's always loads of different weather in FIFA games. Have you guys ever tried to play with the idea of bringing in rain and then dries up?
Yeah, it's a great idea. We won't have it this year. It's not something that we have the ability to do right now, but I think it's a great idea.
Bunch of questions about modes. Obviously, the last generation, the next gen version had stuff like online friendlies and custom tournaments, and tournament mode weren't in it. Are you guys going to address it this time?
Yeah, very
around?
happy to say tournament mode's back in, and so is guest play. So the two major
Excellent.
things that unfortunately we just couldn't get to as we move to the new consoles are both back in this year. Yes.
Excellent. I'm assuming Ultimate Team will be making a return on both versions
Yep,
as well.
we'll be talking about Ultimate Team in a lot more detail with the new things in there in the next month or so.
Excellent.
Obviously, a very important mode for us.
Might be a little bit specific.
Yeah.
It's a question I have. I remember the online friendlies in the next gen version were only for people on your friends list. Are you guys going to have open matchmaking again?
So we do. I mean, we have the online. We have seasons,
Cool.
which is your completely open, play anyone. It's an incredibly popular mode in our game. We obviously added the promotion and relegation to it back in FIFA 12, so that's all there. But the friendlies part is specifically for your friends. Have that. People that you know, and then you go and play seasons to play anyone in the world.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's a bunch of questions coming in, but I think we've basically covered everything, especially in showing the new physics for the game as well.
I mean, the one thing I will say as well is just, again, the community feedback's incredibly important to us. We talked a lot about responsiveness. Obviously, we've got a lot of feedback in the last year about headers and through balls, overpowered headers. So I will point out that a lot of the work we're doing at the contacts with the ball actually has quite a big effect on those as well. So one of the issues we had with through balls last year was at lower pace, the error on the through balls wasn't as much as we'd like. So we're tuning that, but also the contacts help with that. We're tuning the headers. Crosses now won't be quite as powerful because, again, it's harder to get a perfect cross because of the way the ball physics work. But we're also tuning it, so we really do listen to the feedback we're getting. We understand it, and obviously we'll be looking at that for this year as well.
I've got one last question, and it's in my ear, and I'm only asking this because we have a FIFA League at GameSpot, and there's one thing that we realized a couple of weeks ago. When you're doing random games, if you hit random game, we do the 5 random game, hit it 5 times, and then you land on whatever team you get.
Right.
We keep getting the same 3 teams.
Oh, really?
Spain, Scotland, and some Mexican Premier League team.
Okay.
And I've put it out on Twitter, and apparently, what is it? Monterrey, right? Monterrey. So, and I put it out on Twitter, and people were like, "Oh, I keep getting this, this, and this." Whoever's coding that random thing, just make it a bit more
have
random.
A look. It's good feedback. Thank you.
Nick
We'll take a look.
VA,
Great to be here. Thank
pleasure.
you. Pleasure.
FIFA 14 for next gen and previous gen. When are they out?
15. FIFA
15.
There you go.
E3 2014.
It's out at the end of September.
Awesome. Thanks very much for coming on stage. I really appreciate it. That's my lot done on the GameSpot stage. I'm going to hop over to the Samsung stage. We got Fable Legends, Great Goo, Air Mech Arena, and a bunch more. But make sure you stay here right on GameSpot.com/E3.
Hi
Hi there, I'm Anna Prosser Robinson for GameSpot here at E3 2014. I'm here in the Warner Brothers booth with Tim. Tim, what do you do?
I'm the producer on Gauntlet.
And Gauntlet is quite the long-standing series. What is it like to produce something like that that has so much history?
Apparently there's a lot of pressure.
Did you feel that pressure?
I did not. No. I mean, you know, my history with Gauntlet goes all the way back to high school when I was playing it in high school because I'm really old. So I think the opportunity to work on it and maintain that sort of, you know, fun-loving memories that you have of it and bring that into a new one is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's exciting. I would assume there are a lot of people that are probably coming up to you with a lot of nostalgia, and then some people who may not have even been around when the original Gauntlet was produced here on the show floor. What is that like to kind of both share in that nostalgia and bring in new people to this game?
It's kind of strange because, you know, the last Gauntlet arcade game that some of the people remember playing isn't the one that I played. It's the whatever the one was from the 90s. So it is strange to see like everybody having this fond memory for the game series, but with different games in that series. So hopefully we can make most of them happy.
So here at E3, what's the buzz about Gauntlet? What are we really excited about?
We're really excited about griefing. We're really excited about sitting down on the couch with 4 of your friends and realizing how terrible 3 of them are.
So I can like really mess with my friends in this game, right? What can I do?
Well, I think it's more along the lines like the way that we call things out. So if you're a food shooter, it's going to tell you, and your friends are going to know. We also have a system in called relics, and so when you pick up the relics are the only thing in the game that have friendly fire on them for the players. Relics are also like sort of super powerful, so they can go off with like great results or very disastrous results for your teammates, of course, as well. So that's been good.
So the co-op multiplayer experience has been a big deal here at E3. People are really looking to that as what the consumer wants right now. What was the decision like to incorporate that co-op, and how did you really make that a solid element in this game?
Well, I mean, of course we have it as a single-player game as well, so you can go through and play through. The more players that are playing, the up to the 4, the difficulty level scales automatically. But we also have, with very distinct classes this time around. So if you're playing as the wizard, there's a lot more to learn with that spell system than there is if there's playing the warrior. But both of them are sort of needed and have a finesse in a different way. So I think that it'll give a lot of different players who play differently or prefer different characters a chance to sort of, really shine when they're playing online, or really sort of prove that they're terrible and sort of stand out as horrible, terrible players.
So we talked about giving our friends a bad time, but how important is teamwork in this? If I bring in a couple of my friends, am I really going to be able to do a lot more with this game?
Yeah, it's definitely, teamwork is part of one of the things that you need. So if you look back behind us, you can see that the elf and the wizard are ranged, and they're kind of holding off some of the stuff while the warrior, well, that guy's just dancing around in midair with nothing. So you can see which friend he is. But I mean, that's part of it. You know, you can have the range guys stay back while the close quarters guys are in there smashing stuff up.
The visual aesthetic is something I really like about this game. It's really pleasing to my eye. What kind of went into the decisions about what this game was going to look like?
Well, we thought about making it outer space for a long time. We did not. You know, we wanted to make it sort of reminiscent of the arcade stuff, but obviously we didn't want to go like totally retro. We just wanted to make it look like clean and fun, but also have a lot of that sort of like bright lights and shiny things that you have to go after.
I love the bright lights and shiny things. So if somebody hasn't played Gauntlet before and they're just considering it, what type of gamer do you think this is really going to appeal to?
Probably a very lonely person, just got some time to kill. I think, you know, with the 4 classes, it should appeal to most players. There's the melee combat. There's, you know, if you're up for more of a challenge, the wizard is definitely your bag. Learning all the different spells and learning where they're effective and where they're, like, not effective at all. So there's a little bit of everything in there, hopefully.
Great. Well, it sounds great to me. Sometimes I do get lonely, so something to do.
We'll get you a code.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, Tim. Let me know what you think of Gauntlet by tweeting at Anna Prosser with the hashtag GameSpotE3.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Waters stepping in on the GameSpot stage here. E3 Day 3, 2014. Getting excited to host some demos here, and we're kicking it off, continuing the EA Sports lineup with Madden NFL 15. Joining me, Sean Grady, senior producer at EA Tiburon. Sean, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you here. Glad to. I'm sorry to disappoint you, though. I've been meaning to tell you guys this. It's like 26 comes after 25. 15, you guys kind of did a little leap there after last year.
It's confusing some people, but we're back to 15 this year. Yeah.
Back on the yearly indicator, and with Madden NFL 15, you know, you guys were showing off some stuff at the press conferences on Monday.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to jump right into a match here, a rehash of the or a rematch of the Super Bowl between the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers.
NFC Championship.
Going to take a look at some of the stuff that's new this year that you guys have been spending some time on. Okay. But just give us sort of a preview, a little top level, like Madden NFL 15. What's sort of the pillars you guys are trying to put forth this year?
Okay. Well, like we said at the conference, it starts with defense first. Seahawks prove that you can win a Super Bowl championship. We've all heard
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom. Defense wins championship.
Yep.
It's half of the plays in our game, right? Of course, 50% of your plays are going to be on the defensive side of the ball. So we really started with this simple goal of making defense fun. Mm-hmm. So how do you do that? You give the player new mechanics. You wrap it in cool UI that teaches them how to use those mechanics and make it feel like you're being effective on defense as opposed to a liability, as some people would tell us they felt when they played defense.
Yeah. That some of my friends who are really into Madden have said, you know, like it's just a little bit better to let the defense do their thing as opposed to, you know, trying to make a play yourself, getting out of position. You know, you're not covering, you're not sort of with the scheme. but this year you're giving a little more agency to defenders, making it a little more easy for them to have that positive impact.
Absolutely. In fact, we know, looking at data in our game, that about 70% of our players play at the line of scrimmage or as a linebacker inside the box. Essentially, it's a safe place to play.
Yeah.
As opposed to a cornerback or something like that. So we kind of started there, and we gave you a new pass rush mechanic. So you'll see a window, this white ring that closes around the player ring, that tells you when you can try to jump the snap. If it's effective, you get in the backfield quickly, disruptive to the quarterback and the running back. Equally, we'll see our new tackle mechanic as well on the defensive side of the ball.
That's my man Hauschka right there, fellow graduate of Needham High School.
So right away, you're seeing hopefully some really nice looking updates to the look of our players and the graphics in the game. That's a brand new camera, that kickoff camera, kind of a playoff style behind the kicker.
Yep. Do you guys model those cameras, the ones that are on wires above the stadium?
We do. We actually hired an NFL film cinematographer, a guy that's been in the business for 8-9 years, to come in. He knows where all the camera positions are in all the stadiums, and we model off the real-world environment. So you'll see a lot of that in the game this year.
And you also have got some real-world tattoos in the game. Of course, Colin Kaepernick's, some of the more broadcast tattoos for certain. But there's a lot of players in the NFL. A lot of those dudes have ink. How deep were you guys going on that kind of individual player customization?
Well, so we released our first screenshot, which was Colin Kaepernick, and he had the tattoos, and that was the first question that everybody started asking. Is everybody going to have tattoos? And unfortunately, the answer is no right now.
That's a huge task. Are you kidding me?
But it's Kaepernick. It's some of the most recognizable tattoos in the game. And frankly, he wanted to be represented in an authentic way, so he actually went out and secured the rights to his tattoos.
Really?
And as a result, we're able to put those in the game. So,
do you have to consult then the artists who gave him the tattoos?
You actually do.
That's pretty cool. All right, so we're taking a look now. Obviously, we're on the offensive side of the field.
Offensive side of the ball. One thing you just saw there in pre-play, he was pulling up our new matchup stick, our coach stick as we called it. You can pull the old coach cam, and you can cycle around with the left stick, and it tells you where your advantages are on the field. So you can see if a receiver has a speed advantage, a height advantage, or maybe a shed block advantage, you can try to target that position on the field.
That's interesting because it seems like that's a way to surface these deep player attributes you guys have assigned to every player.
Yeah.
A way to surface that right on the field, like at the snap, and that's sort of the game time decision.
Absolutely. It's something that we know NFL coaches do. They look for a matchup, and they'll exploit that matchup on Sunday. So now we're giving you the tools. And frankly, our best players would go in and study the rosters and get very deep, and they would lab. We're giving the tools to everybody now.
So by that, do you mean I can now watch hours and hours of game tape alone by myself in a room? You know?
Absolutely. That's what we want you to do.
All right. So I guess I'm curious, before we get over to the defensive side of things, well, first off, we just saw the prompts come up there, the PlayStation prompts. This is running on a PlayStation 4.
It's on PlayStation 4, absolutely.
Okay.
One thing you notice, too, on the offensive side of the ball, the camera's tighter than it's ever been. It's actually our zoom camera. We showed it at E3 last year. It was kind of buried in a pause menu. We actually updated all of our gameplay cameras, but we decided to go tight because at the line of scrimmage now, you can actually cycle between 6 cameras. So you can start at zoom, go to standard, into wide, all 22, all the way into broadcast, as you're seeing right now.
Oh, really?
On the screen. So brand new element, kind of, borrowed it from a racing game. It's something you see in racing games a lot.
I was just about to say, can you go to helmet cam? Like seeing over the face mask there?
We talked about that. It could be at some time in the future. We like that idea, but it's not there this year.
Oh, man, I feel like it'd be so jostly. Probably get motion sick. You guys, being a franchise that comes out every year, you sort of put effort in every year to refresh the game, to make it new, to make it more faithful to the experience and more friendly to players. Do you take stuff that you see in the season? Do you have like learnings each year from how the NFL season plays out and how the results of teams, not just player stats per se, but like general trends of play and stuff
Absolutely.
like that?
I mean, if you look at the playbooks and how they've evolved over the years, we had the Wildcat a couple years, which was all the buzz. Remember, everybody was putting a running back in the quarterback position, then handing off to receiver.
Yeah.
That kind of faded away, and then it was the read option. Redskins, Seahawks, our 49ers right here. So all the playbooks were updated to reflect that. So we actually look at all the trends that are happening in the league, and you'll see that reflected in the game. And then our teams, when they're controlled by the CPU, will play in the style that you see them play on Sunday. So it's very, very authentic.
Are you guys setting up a little Crabtree-Sherman showdown here in the end zone? You're going to try to repeat history?
Well. Rex, if you're listening, let's go for Crabtree and Sherman and see if he can get the catch this time.
Let's go for the play. See if it'll come to.
One thing you'll notice here on, especially if we get the touchdown, we've really focused on keeping the emotion on the field. So you're going to see players react in post play. There it is.
All right.
Didn't go to Crabtree, but
maybe should have made that call last.
They went to the wrong receiver in the NFC Championship.
All right, so you're saying when we score the touchdown, what are we going to
notice? So he scores the touchdown here, and he had an immediate reaction on the field. His arms went up, doing a little bit of a dance. It's not just touchdowns, though. It's on a big sack. It's on a first down. We used to do cut scenes where we'd kind of load this scene and take all the players off the field. Now it's actually organic. It's unscripted, and it's all happening on the field.
It's an animation that just comes right after you caught the ball, you tumbled, and then it registers. You made that play. The arms go
up and react.
The strut.
The strut. The best one is when you pull off the defensive pass rush mechanic and you get in the backfield and you blow up the quarterback, and then he rolls over and immediately goes and celebrates, and it feels like it's you. That's a rewarding moment.
All right, so now we're on the defensive side. We're going to get a look at these new sort of defensive mechanics you guys are highlighting in the press conference. So talk us through it.
So here he is. First of all, you're on the defensive side of the ball. For the last decade, we've been playing behind the offense, and that's always where you were. So you saw in that first play there, he's hit up on the D-pad. He's actually playing from behind the defender. So it's a new look in our game.
Now, is that an option? Can you still play with the old traditional view?
You can, yeah. So just like you saw in offense where he was cycling through cameras, you can actually cycle through them here, and the lowest camera in is this defensive camera.
Okay.
So he actually is doing player lock here. This is a left stick click. It's a similar camera, but for that play, he's going to be locked in on that player. And so it's just a different variation. If you're playing as a linebacker in CFM as an example, that'll be the camera that you play in. CFM being connected franchise, our career mode, you'll play in that camera the whole time.
And that seems like a really important thing for defense. Especially if you're trying to get into that role and being effective in your specific position.
Yeah.
Because if you're tracking the ball, it's so easy to lose yourself.
Yeah.
But then again, you also want to be able to switch to where the action's happening and not just kind of be like, all right, defensive end hanging out in the backfield while the running back is off into the races.
Well, it's personal preference. If you want the safety net of playing that one player and you don't get in the backfield, you don't have to worry about making the tackle, you could stay there. But yes, you're right. A lot of people want to be able to switch the ball. In fact, we actually started with just the player lock camera, and everybody was hitting the B button or the circle button on the PS4 wanting to switch. So we ended up updating this new camera we called the defensive camera so that you could cycle while still being on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, so tracking your player is one way to sort of, drill down on your effectiveness on defense. But there's a new blocking mechanic, or sort of trying to shake at the block mechanic, right?
Yeah,
and a new tackle mechanic.
Right, exactly. So when you're at the line of scrimmage, when you do that jump to snap mechanic, you'll see an icon appear above his head, either the square or the X button. And the square is an aggressive move, a bull rush move per se. The X is a finesse move. And if you win that kind of dice roll in the window, you'll see him pull that move and get around the offensive lineman and ideally get in the backfield and be disruptive. It's kind of a fun mini game in a way. Like I said at the start, the real goal was to make defense fun. What I'm seeing in the booth as people are playing this, I heard a lot of people turn to their buddy and say, defense is actually fun. So that's what I want to hear.
Excellent. And the tackle as well.
The tackle as well. So you'll see this new, we call it a proximity cone. It's kind of this white cone that is in front of your defender. When the ball carrier comes into that cone, again, the icon will appear above your head telling you that the tackle window is open. In the past, it was kind of trial and error. So if you're a new player to Madden, it's going to give you better timing on when you can make the tackle. If he's in the center of that cone, you can go aggressive. You can go with the old hit stick, which is still there.
Sure.
Or you can hit the square button on PS4, which is going to be an aggressive tackle. X is going to be your conservative, and if you want to go ultra conservative square up, you can go with L2 and the X button. But that one, you might get trucked. There's a little bit more risk in that one.
Always fun to make the risky play, and that was a risky pass.
That was a risky pass.
Not turn out well. We're going to get to see another few more defensive plays before the demo wraps up here. Is there anything you want to point out about that play in particular?
I was just going to say, you saw that great immediate reaction. We've actually updated our zone and man coverage. You're playing one of the best secondaries in the NFL.
Yeah.
So not surprising you're going to throw some picks once in a while.
Well, we've been focusing a lot on the moment-to-moment play, the on-field action.
Yeah.
But is there stuff that you guys have sort of brought in this year or tweaked on the larger scale, the modes, the sort of ways to play, the online competition that you want to talk about?
Yeah, there's some other depth that we've done in career mode that's been really popular since we completely overhauled it in Madden 13. We've updated Skills Trainer. Skills Trainer last year had 19 drills, and we found that people that went in there and played it were wildly more successful in online, and they played the game a lot longer. They enjoyed it a lot more. We actually added about 45 drills this year that teach you not only the game of Madden, but the sport of football. We then take those Skills Trainer drills, and we use them as your practice week to week in Connected Franchise. And it's a way of increasing your XP and building your confidence in your players and kind of making practice less of a grind.
Very cool. Well, Sean, Madden NFL 15, you guys normally aim for what, like an August release
26th.
date?
Yep.
August 26th, and this is across all consoles.
All consoles, yeah.
All right, very cool. Thank you so much for coming in, talking the nitty-gritty with us here on stage.
Yep.
Enjoy the last day of E3.
Appreciate it.
All right, folks, that's Madden NFL 15, and we're going to be back shortly with a bit of a change of pace in Samurai Warriors 4. But first, Lisa Foyles is checking out Counter Spy out in the E3 wilds. Let's check in with her.
Lisa Foyles here with GameSpot. I'm here with Dave upstairs at Sony looking at Vita games. Counter Spy, this game looks awesome. Tell me about this story.
So Counter Spy is kind of our